like little description of the integral test? Is this supposed to be an X or an N up here? Because we all have an X.
Well, I put X because for your function, your f of X, you're using X. I mean, honestly, you could use f of N and keep N. It's just a variable, so it doesn't matter.
So for the examples, why do we use an N?
For the examples?
Yeah.
Well,
we haven't switched it to f of X.
we just state in our work a sub n equals f of X if we're going to use f of X instead of f of N. Yeah. Okay, guys, so we are hitting direct comparison test. It's on. Direct comparison test today. Okay, we have quite a bit of stuff to write about it before we start working an example or two. Okay. But go ahead and write this down. The direct comparison test is used to compare a given series to a known, what we call parent series, and we're going to call that series B sub n. Okay, we're given sigma A sub n. We're going to come up with a B sub n to compare it to. So the first thing we're going to do, if we're going to use the direct comparison test, is we're going to choose an appropriate B sub n. And that B sub n is usually going to be either a PST or GST, either a P series or a geometric series. Usually a P series test B sub n or geometric series test. So after we choose our B sub n, and it's going to be a B sub n that you're going to be able to just look at and know, yep, that converges, yep, that diverges immediately, okay? So you're going to determine if B sub n converges or diverges. That's your next step. Determine whether B sub n converges or diverges. Okay, so here we go. If your sigma of B sub n converges and B sub n is greater than A sub n, then your given series with A sub n converges. Think about it. If B sub n is bigger and it converges, then whatever is smaller than that will also converge. So let's go ahead and write that. If larger series converges, then smaller one will too. All right. If your series with B sub n diverges, bless you, and B sub n is smaller than A sub n, then your given series with A sub n diverges. In other words, if the smaller series diverges, then your one that's bigger than that will also diverge. Let's write that down. If smaller series diverges, then larger series will too. Okay, make yourself this big note. if larger series diverges, this tells you nothing about the smaller series. Okay, this tells you nothing about the smaller one. In other words, it would be inconclusive. You would have to either choose another B sub n to use or use a different test, okay? Same thing, if your smaller one converges, if your B sub n converges but A sub n is bigger, it tells you nothing, okay? We good with this? Questions? I know y'all are still writing. All right, we're going to do 3 examples. Here's our first one. I'm going to go from n equals 1 to infinity of 2 to the negative n factorial. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I'm going to say my A sub n is, I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over 2 to the power of n factorial. And I'm thinking this kind of sort of looks like a geometric 1/2 to the n power, right? But it's not because of that factorial. But I know this is gonna grow a lot faster than 1 over 2 to the n, right? Okay, so I'm gonna make B sub n be 1 over 2 to the n, or I could rewrite that as 1/2 to the n power, right? So we've got a geometric series here, right? So this is what? R, okay? R is equal to 1/2, which is, what do I write? Geometric series, people? Less than 1. So what does that tell you about this series? That's right. B sub n converges by geometric series test. Compare B sub n to A sub n. Which one's bigger?
B sub n.
B sub n is bigger. I need to state that. B sub n is greater than A sub n, and B sub n converges. We just showed that here. So then I could say, therefore, by direct comparison test, I'm going to set this equal to S. S converges. So you have shown your B sub n. You have shown the work that satisfies your conclusion that it converges by showing that R is equal to this, which is less than 1. So you said, okay, then this series converges, and this series is bigger. So if the bigger series converges, the smaller one will too. Okay, you can make that conclusion. We good? Okay, how about this one? Let's do 1 over n cubed plus 1. I want to say P series, but because of that plus 1 down there, I can't use that. Okay, but I know that I'm going to say equals S. A sub n is equal to, since I have to show this in my work, I need to write what A sub n is and B sub n. Okay, so A sub n is equal to 1 over n cubed plus 1. I'm going to choose B sub n to be 1 over n cubed. So for this one, what test are you going to use? P series. So we're going to say P is equal to 3, which is what? Greater than 1. So this series with B sub n converges by P series test. Which one's bigger, A sub n or B sub n?
A sub
Yep. This denominator is going to get bigger faster, right? So that this is smaller than this. So I'm going to say B sub n is greater than A sub n. And since B sub n converges, A sub n will too because it's smaller. Okay, so then I'll say by direct comparison test, S converges. One more. One over 2 plus the square root of n. That's my series. So A sub n is equal to 1 over 2 plus square root of n. That would be n to the 1/2 power, right? Mm-hmm. Well, then let's make B sub n be 1 over square root n. Okay, so P series? Yeah. So I would say P is equal to 1/2, which is less than 1. So does this diverge or converge? Yep, so I'm going to say this series right here diverges by P series test. Which one's bigger, A sub n or B sub n? That has a plus 2 in the denominator, so that denominator is going to get bigger faster. So B sub n is actually bigger than A sub n. B sub n is larger than A sub n. Can we make any conclusion here about A sub n? This bigger series diverged. Does that tell me anything about the smaller? No. So I would say direct comparison test is inconclusive. So for me, I would use limit comparison because I can't use nth term test. I always want to try nth term test. You always want to try that one first because that one's easy breezy to use. Okay? What questions do y'all have on this? Because I have 3 more example problems I want y'all to work. Practice problems. We good? Okay, so again, your B sub n almost always is going to be a geometric or a P series. Almost always, that's what you're going to choose for your B sub n. Yes, ma'am?
Do they give you a B sub n?
No, you come up with it. Yeah. And it's going to model what your A sub n is. It's going to look like it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the same type of function. This is not, this is not P series, right? But it's really close to P series, so I chose a B sub n that was P series that I could easily tell if it diverged or converged. Yeah. Okay, and well, we're going to learn limit comparison test next. That's going to be where you're looking at your A sub n and you're coming up with a B sub n, but you're not able to really easily tell which one's bigger, which one's smaller than limit comparison. So you're still going to get a B sub n for limit comparison. Your comparison tests always need a B sub n, but it's like, I don't know which one's bigger or smaller, you know, because you got a lot of, it's just like a messy algebraic function. Okay, so here are the ones I want you to work on with your groups. If you can see it. There you go. Ready, go?
Just if it's on the bottom.
Yeah. I'm not going to. Yeah, I believe on your worksheet, the only one that's really a direct comparison is number 17, I think. Is it convergence? Yeah, number 16 is chill. No, so that means that I'm gonna do B sub n as 1 over S. That's what I do too. So that would mean P equals 2, which is greater than 1. So say this and B sub n A7.
So
And is
therefore,
okay, so V of N
also
is equal to
DCT.
sorry. Yeah. Wait, what did I say?
DST.
Well, we can
oh we can't.
S converges.
Okay, perfect. Okay, 1 over N.
Yeah, it's easy.
Wait for
I like that one.
and then
Yeah.
I understand this a lot
So
better
that
than the
means-
next
And then we can use.
Yeah, this is way better than the nth term
That would
and the
be
nth
equal.
term.
Yes. I still don't really understand
because
this.
P is
Oh, because it's in
No meter.
Okay.
P is
Oh,
Oh, no.
It's fine. We
Wait,
got
what
it.
are we equals?
I don't like
We got
this.
it.
Right as I said I was
just-
understanding,
Okay.
and then I look at the board.
So do I just put P equals 1 to equals 1?
Well, which
Oh,
is
L
less
is
than or
N.
equal to 1. That's what P series
Oh, yeah.
So
says.
should I put less than equal to? Okay.
So P
If it's less than or equal to 1, then
so less than or equal to
so
Averages by PSP.
diverge.
So then be sure and set up your which one's bigger, which one's smaller, your greater than, less than, be sure and set that up in your work.
So that means
You can't use P series.
Which one's bigger,
So
B
it's
series, B
even-
series.
I don't think you said that.
Oh, so
Well, I think
minus
somehow
L
the
of N.
ends
A
cancel
and A
out.
sub N is
So-
smaller.
I think it's a bit. I'm not even.
Could you
Wait,
rewrite
what if we
it
plug like a value?
as
Well, if you, on the ones we did in our example, we said
1
case that it was
over
smaller when we had like +2.
No, but it
It's
can't be
worth
a
And-
plus. It can't be changed.
could you do it at write it as 1
Adding
over
something to that.
n
So
minus
so
Yeah.
n to the -2 ln of n.
Yeah. It'd make the
then
denominator
you
now
can use
denominator
Smaller,
smaller.
so yeah.
P
yeah.
series.
That's it.
okay, A sub N is
So
bigger
big.
than B sub N.
Wait, so by DCT, A sub N diverges?
so A sub N is
Where would you
bigger.
get 2 from?
Wait,
Hold
so
on.
the
You
larger
said two
series,
elements.
wait,
What is
the larger
bottom
series
having,
diverges, then the
like,
larger.
you would do
Bigger
this?
bottom zero.
Huh? A sub N. If that's
No,
the
could-
smaller series,
say
Could you like
So
divide
if you say A sub N, then
Right.
you're only
So-
talking
divide
about
it out? Like
you're not talking about the series.
put a
That's
1 at the
averages by
top
P series?
and bring the n down
Well, by
n to the
right.
-2.
The series would be of n divergent sides.
But then what P series would
And
that
then
be?
multiply it
Okay.
out.
wait, so when is it inconclusive or B of N is small?
If you're
B of N is
If
bigger.
you're larger series.
First
Or
one
is
is
one
that
It has to be P
However
series.
converges,
do.
your bigger one, I have no idea what it's gonna do.
Well, yeah, because there's no ends. Like,
Could you just take out the n
Bigger
squared and
one
then just
diverges,
n squared
everything
times
about the smaller.
1 over?
Okay, wait, if the smaller series converges, then
If the smaller series converges,
My thought
you're not
process
thinking about the larger.
it's so it's if the smaller series converges and then the larger series
that
diverges.
this could be
Then
a
it's
comparison.
comparison,
No,
right?
because S squared is
If the
I'm
larger
gonna
series
skip that one
diverges,
and do the next one.
converges, it tells you that. Yeah, yeah.
Smaller one.
Because the next one,
S squared over.
this one's easier. 3 n to the 5
Can
minus
we do
4.
2 over?
I thought you said you were gonna do 1 over.
Wait, can we
Oh,
do
that's not right.
2 thirds?
Yeah, we could do 2 over 3 and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be easier to compare. I don't know. It feels
Wait,
wrong,
are
but I
you
think
doing
it's.
Wait, because is this P series? Can we use P series ones?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
function say 2 over
Yeah.
So 2
minus 4.
You should make b sub n equal to 2 over
2 doesn't.
Well, okay, technically, okay, no.
wait,
2 over n
but
to the
if it's
5th.
P series and it's
You don't even have to
2
have the
thirds,
two.
that's still fine.
Yeah,
but
but
P is still fine.
Why?
I don't
Because
know.
you can factor
It's
out
just P series.
It's just,
Okay.
and then
then you just take the 2 out.
That's
A
33.
sub N.
3 over n to the 5th.
Wait, what did we make B of N?
Or 2, I just did 2 over n to the 5th.
And then
P equals 5, which is greater than 1.
So A of n is greater
Therefore-
than B of n.
P is equal to 5, which is greater than 1.
Wait,
And-
P series it can have.
So-
It's less
A
than
sub
or
n is
converges,
greater.
then
Does
we
that have to be
don't
one?
have anything.
I think it can.
A sub N is bigger than
Yeah.
B sub N.
If you can
Yeah.
just-
Wait, B of N
But
has
B,